Well, they lost in the Meadowlands, but it's time to cross the Schuylkill and come over to Philadelphia because the Giants are taking on the Eagles again. Hello, everyone. I did it again. I paused it. I don't have access to the. I don't have the audio recording of the song, so no songs this week, folks. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly Sports Now, Philly Fan Podcast. My name is Zach. With me is Andrew, and we're back to talk all things Philly sports. Now that Week 7 has completed, the Eagles have beat the Minnesota Vikings and Carson Wentz. It's time to get revenge again, and that game is against the New York Giants in Philadelphia, 1 o'clock on Fox this week. And I'm gonna come out and pause. Not pause, apologize. I don't know. I guess I'm nasally. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It's I'm working. I'm not at home, so I think my body is slowly shutting down. It's doing that thing where I travel, so it's like, hey, you have to stay intact to get through work, but like once this is over, your body's gonna shut down for a solid 24 hours.
You need
So
some rest that we don't
I'm
pay
looking
for.
forward to that. Yeah, exactly. That's what like if I get home early and I get Friday off, like I'll probably just sleep all day Friday. Not because I want to, but my body is just like, hey, you have slept like 6 hours in 2 days, so boop, 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 boop. Anyway, so thanks for sticking with me. Maybe put a little like if you know what that means to crash out like that after working a hard week. But let's talk Giants coming into Philadelphia. We obviously saw a crazy loss. Andrew talked me out of. Remember before this season, I had the Eagles at 1-1 against the New York Giants this year. I had that prediction in the bag, and Andrew talked me out of it going into the 2-0 prediction against the Giants. Here we are, already the loss under our belt. So now back against the wall in the sense of rivalry against the same team. Gotta go get the win at home. I wouldn't have been upset if we dropped a random Kelly Green Day, but I don't think that's how that works. Um, we got to get this win, and
We're learning.
I think we just keep it as simple as that for the start of it. Got to go get this win.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you can't drop two to the Giants. It's a team that's definitely obviously struggling through the year, and man, they're coming off a back-breaking loss last week. So don't give them any momentum to come back because they're going to look for some spark early on. So come out fast in this game and just bury them because that game last time against the Broncos last week for the Giants, I still can't believe they blew that game. But that
That
Eagles
was
need to come out.
the Broncos came back and got every point in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, 26-8 in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left. And the Broncos took the lead. And then the Giants the Broncos took the lead with like a minute 30 left. The Giants retook the lead with about 30 seconds left. And then the Broncos went down the field and kicked the game winning field goal
See
because
if I may
the
apply
Giants
this to the
missed the
Eagles
extra
now.
points. So it should have went to overtime, but the Giants missed the extra points. So they were only losing by 2 instead of 3. So the walk off field goal.
But if I may apply this to the Eagles now, what that tells me is the Giants defense dropped the ball. And with the Eagles coming off of a major offensive struggle, turn to a major offensive game with their game against the Minnesota Vikings, I think it's time for that capitalizing on Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and of course our dog Saquon Barkley. Like it's this is kind of like a perfect moment where the defense of the New York Giants is their weak link, surprisingly, right? But you got to say that's the truth when Jackson Dart and Scattaboo, those fucking, I don't
That
what do we
rookie
call them?
energy.
Knuckleheads, crazy people. What like they come out of nowhere and they're just the dynamic duo right now.
Yeah, that rookie energy has really sparked that Giants offense. I mean, that Broncos defense is good. I mean, we saw it. So I mean, yeah, it's the rookie energy that some teams that little spark that gives the whole team energy. I know when the Eagles lost to them in New York. I mean, I haven't seen that much energy from the Giants sideline in I don't know how long. So I mean, they got that young fun spark.
Yeah, they do. And quite honestly, like, taking the fan cap off, I think that could be a fun slash dangerous duo to watch grow the Giants offense
Right?
because that's the kind of that's the core that you build around. That's how you go get a receiver that's like, man, I want to hang with those two, and that's how you go get an offensive lineman men, like I said men because I was trying to say like a good group to like, oh yeah, I want to go, block for those guys. I want to go help Scadaboo go get 1,000,000 touchdowns. I want to help Dart throw 1,000 darts. It's going to be dangerous. I think we're still early enough that the Eagles can take advantage of them, but I do foresee them being a problem as long as the Giants keep those two together and treat them well. Something the Giants aren't exactly known to do, but hey, might happen.
Right. Well, and just outside the game on Sunday, you look at the division as a whole. Like obviously, Hurts just signed that big extension. He's fairly only, I mean, still young, and you obviously have Daniels only in his second year, and then yeah, now you got Jackson Dart. So I mean, overall, as a division, you're looking at a lot of growth here from a lot of these quarterbacks, and then you got Dak Prescott, but he's a little. I want to keep him on the younger side.
I mean, I wouldn't really have anything nice to say about Dak Prescott. I've gotten to the point that like Dak Prescott has to be the most overrated quarterback in recent generation as far as quarterbacks
You
go.
know what he kind of reminds me of,
Yeah,
and I'm not talking about their play style. I just mean career trajectory.
sure.
Is Matt Stafford, a guy that just always had a ton of great stats on a team that never went anywhere. But like hypothetically, if he got traded to let's just say like a team like I don't know, you got like obviously Stafford got traded to the Rams and he go won a Super Bowl. I could see Dak doing that. Like
You
honestly,
know,
I could
I
see him going to like a I'm just gonna say the Steelers because that's where Rodgers went and who knows how long Rodgers will be there. But yeah, just throw Dak there and then like you could see that with him.
I'll throw it out there. I'll throw it into ether, and if it happens, God smite me for it for saying it. But you trade Dak to Minnesota,
That's
that
another good one. That's
that's a
another good one.
Super Bowl winning team right there.
Yeah, that's another really good one. I mean, given Justin Jefferson, I mean,
Yeah,
and that
that's what
defense.
I was just saying today. How, and ironically, we didn't talk about this on our Vikings episode. Um, Justin Jefferson has just never been paired with like the proper prime quarterback. And like again, I would say Dak's not in his prime. I think Dak's a good player, but like
No,
I think at least with the Dallas Cowboys surrounding him, he's just not in a prime that you can use. And I'm talking all this shit, and we still have to play them. Like it's so funny.
I really
But
beat him once.
I just I yeah I think Dak is, as a Cowboy, is one of the most overrated things in the past, I don't know, 10 years. And but I think you might be 100% correct. You trade him to a team that can use him, and he becomes a real problem.
Yeah, no, I really
And
do.
we somehow started talking about the Cowboys on game day against the Giants. So let's slide back over to there. Yeah, I know we already said it, so I won't harp on it too much. But the Jackson Dart and Scatterville, it's a fun combination. It's a dangerous combination, and I definitely don't want to take it lightly. And I think this is a good time to point out I just covered the camera trying to wipe my screen by accident. I forgot my camera is here and not
Hope
I'm
everybody
traveling.
likes Zach's hand.
Anyway, I think now's a good time to talk about the one of the people that would be going up against Scattaboo and Dart. Possibly, he might not be playing yet, but we'll see. But Brandon Graham coming out of retirement to join the Eagles' defensive line, and I don't know how to feel about it, if I'm honest. And I'm going to throw it to Andrew to talk first, but I'll send my thoughts out afterwards. I'm not mad by any means, but I'm not jumping for joy. So Andrew, hype it up. Brandon Graham
No,
is back.
I think you have to be excited.
I'm
Like
and
I,
I am. I just
because
like I can't not be excited is the best way to put it.
here's where you look at it, or here's where I'm looking at it, and why it's exciting is you saw what he did last year, and he was still a very good player last year until he injured, and he comes back, works his way back. Obviously, plays a handful of snaps in the Super Bowl, didn't get his full game. But I never once thought at the end of last year he wanted to retire. I thought it was more
Especially having an
his
injured season. Like that just
his contract was up. The Eagles won the Super Bowl, so there's no guarantee the Eagles are going to bring him back. And he clearly doesn't want to play anywhere but Philadelphia. So he kind of used that as okay, I'm going to slide into retirement. But it wasn't like Jason Kelsey. Like you knew Jason Kelsey was kind of retired,
did
right?
you see, not to interrupt already, but did you see Kelsey's response to this?
Actually, I
Uh
did not.
Someone it was very it wasn't really, it was just a joke more or less, but someone retweeted the Brandon Graham announcement, and the retweet said, and he tagged him, and he was like, "Hey, does anyone know if at Jason Kelsey is busy?" And Jason Kelsey responded, and it just said, "Very." Period. Like,
Very
like it
what?
was just
Working on a new
like he was
contract?
like, "I am not coming out of retirement, guys."
That's funny. That's very funny. But
But yeah, Andrew, like, so I guess I'll like one
it's
thing. So I didn't get a chance to watch the actual press conference he did. So give us the rundown of what happened there and what BG said.
yeah, and just I think the big takeaway for me was he openly admitted to it was he didn't want to retire. He wasn't ready to retire at the end of last year. It was just kind of the way the dominoes were falling, and he's continued to work out and everything in this offseason. Now again, being in regular shape compared to football game shape is obviously two different things, and I think that's going to be the biggest question is from him coming back. But in terms of what he was saying was he wasn't ready to retire. It's kind of the way it fell, and as the season progressed, it kind of became more eye opening, right? He said this isn't the first time the Eagles have reached out to him. They've reached out to him before, and I think with all the injuries, and he even said it, but with all the injuries, that's when it kind of started creeping into his head. And then when Darius Smith randomly retired last week, he was like, "Oh, now's the time. Like if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to come back, now's my chance." Because he even said it on the show was I didn't even know this, but Smith, I guess, had the locker that Brandon Graham's used his whole career. So it was like, okay, my locker's open now. The
Yeah.
position's open because Darius Smith has played basically the same position. So the position's open. We've already dealt with all these injuries between Nolan Smith, obviously Jalen Carter's missed time, and Nakobe Dean. So like your pass rush has already been hit with injuries. Now and then you have a guy randomly retire. He's like, okay, I can go help the team now, and I think he's ready to take advantage of it. And in terms of playing, he said like I mean, obviously he's not going to be full ready to go for this Sunday, but it sounds like he's going to try to, at least get a few snaps in. And then I think after the bye week is when you're really going to see those snaps elevate. But no, he's excited. I mean, not that that guy's ever not smiling, but
Right.
he was all smiles.
Happiest
And he's
guy
like,
there
yeah.
is.
And that's what I think too. On top of that, is some of these struggles is you can see him fix, right? You can see him, add that veteran presence, just the fun, especially if the locker room is kind of. I mean, as reported is if are issues. I mean, what better than get a guy that's just smiling all the time and having fun? And I think on top of even if he's not playing 50 snaps a game and he's only giving you 15 to 20, he at least can teach a lot of these young guys on what to do.
I definitely in I think a lot of the locker room pressure is just that. It's pressure. It's pressure created from the sports. It's pressure created from sports media. I think it's pressure created from the fans. It's pressure. It's Philadelphia pressure. It's a normal
Yeah.
thing, and I think it's ramped up coming off of the Super Bowl win. But I do think you're right that Brandon Graham is a person that can handle that pressure. It's I'll say the reason I'm not like ecstatic is I'm just kind of cautious about what's going on. It feels you know what I'll use a perfect analogy for any nerds listening, but it feels very similar to Disney going back to get the Russo brothers to film the new Avengers movie. Like they announced they were done after they created Infinity War and Endgame, the best Marvel movies of all time, and everyone was like, "You did it. You hit the nail on the head. You can't possibly do it again." And then they were like, "Bring them back. We're not creating enough money. We're not creating enough waves. Bring them back to make the new Avengers movies." And they are. And it just it tells me as an Eagles fan, this situation it does feel a little desperate.
But I think not to hide it, I think they are desperate. Again, with all the injuries that have happened, then you have
That's
a
fine.
guy randomly retire, a guy that you signed after week one in hopes, to be a really good veteran, to be a guy that's going to make a difference. And then all of a sudden, he randomly retires. And now, who knows how much to believe in what's going on in the locker room, but when you see a veteran like that who chose you a week into the season thinking, okay, I'm going to go try to win a championship with them, right? And then you see that retire. I think, I don't think that with all the media stuff going on, I think the Eagles kind of had that spot, right? I mean, because at this point, who else are you going to find, right? You're not going to. any free agent still out there at this point is probably equivalent to Brandon Graham. So why not bring in a guy a guy that knows the system, and then a guy that's been around for a while? So I think, yeah, not to hide it, I think it was a little bit of a desperation move, but I think they're in that spot now
I
because of
do
what's
agree with
transpired.
what you just said that if you're gonna do it to anyone, you might as well bring him back. Like if they were gonna just go sign somebody, especially if they were gonna try and get a veteran, like to bring a veteran into this locker room that wasn't on this team last year feels like a wrong move. Like I again, it makes sense. Again, exactly with my Marvel analogy. It makes sense. Nothing about it was wrong. It was just weird and desperate. And I think if you're willing to admit to me that it is desperate, that makes me feel better actually. Like it is like more of an out in the open thing that I think we just haven't talked about. Like everyone's just excited, which is fine. Be excited. Be like that's a good thing. But I felt like I was the only one like looking at it that way. And again, sometimes you are desperate and you got to make a move. And I'm not saying it's the wrong move. I'm a little cautious. That's all. And hey, maybe it's mostly a locker room thing. Maybe they mostly just get him in there, get
Yeah.
involved with the team. I We'll see. I'm excited. I am excited to see that Brandon Graham energy on the sideline. That's for sure. I'm curious. Like, how long is it though before he retires and just becomes a coach? Like, that's like, and I'm not trying to push him out the door again. I'm just saying, like, he's someone that should be on the sideline, even not as a player. Very similar to, like, we were just talking about Jimmy Rollins needs to go start managing in baseball. And, it's just one of those things where it's like, too much ball to not be involved.
Yeah, I could see him being a coach one day. I also love what he's been doing podcasting wise and what he's been doing on Good Morning
Nah, it's too
Football.
much competition. I don't want to hear it.
On Good Morning Football on Friday has been a lot of fun watching him break down games too. So, yeah, I mean, he definitely has a career in multiple different areas after he finally actually does hang it up in football. But I do wonder. Let's say he comes out and actually plays really well. Like, is this more than a half year thing? Like, that's what I wonder. Or is it going to be a tradition? He's going to retire and then come back midway through the year again. Now, but yeah, I think last time I saw it really work for a team. I'm sure it's happened before since then, but the one that kept coming back to my head was when Rob Gronkowski came out of retirement midway through the year and won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Um, it's not the first time this has happened in football, and I'm sure it won't be the last. And I can't remember if there's someone in between. I'm sure there has been, but that's
Well,
the one that
Tom
came
did
to my
it.
head.
Tom came out of retirement to go back to the Bucks and then didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So yeah, no. So yeah, I'm excited for it though, especially a fun player like that.
I think that's a great way to end the note on that. Is that it is fun. It should be exciting, and I think especially right now going into Week 8 against the Giants, that's the kind of thing you want to think about. So, Andrew, anything else on the? I know stepped away from the main course here, but anything else to talk about when it comes to this Giants pregame? I guess besides our score. If not, we'll get into that.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have your hands full again. I mean, obviously you saw what they did to you, so I think it's time to make the adjustments and slow down this rookie energy. And we saw what rookie energy can do and how much fun it was on the defensive side of all last year with Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell, and now the Giants are doing it with the offense. So we'll see. How's the response? And I think that's the big thing here for the Eagles. And for me, it all starts with a very fast start and something you alluded to earlier. I'd love to see them, get the receivers going early again, keep that momentum, and then just make it a Saquon game in the second half.
It's gotta be Barkley's got a touchdown score. Throw it in the list. Throw it on the list. Barkley's touchdown score.
Where's Boston Scott at? Wasn't he the giant killer?
The giant killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always good. That's always good. Man, that was fun. That was a fun time. All right, let's get these scores going as I try to like desperately calculate what I think is going to happen here. Uh, Andrew, if you have yours
Yeah.
ready, go for it.
Yeah, coming in, you look at 7.5 point spread coming into the game. I think the Eagles get revenge in this game. You're back at home. It's been a little bit since you've been at home. You played against New York and then you were at Minnesota. I think the fans are gonna be ready to go. You get the Brandon Graham energy too. So I mean the crowd's gonna be on another level. I want to take the Eagles. I'll go 27-17.
I am I said it this episode. I'm not a homer, but I'm going butt whooping, dude. I think the revenge needs to be big, loud. I think Barkley has a game. Of course, he has to have a game. It's the Giants, and I'm going 34-20.
Love it.
I want the Giants to like desperately cross the goal line. I want them to kick that ball, and that's what they got. Like I want the Eagles. I want a Hurts touchdown. I want two Barkley touchdowns, and then I don't know Goddard. It might be the guy I throw in there. But yeah, I'm going big Eagles game 34-20 win. It's got to be a win. Got to go win. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. You can find us social media links are in the description below. It was a great ramp up, talking up BG being back. Great to have, well, we'll see, but hopefully great to have him back. And we better beat the stupid Jackson Dart, Scataboo, New York Giants. Thank you everyone for listening. And as always, go Birds. Good night.